And welcome to today's Mishna Brura study. Today we are doing halacha number 13 through 18. So he says, mutar, it is permissible, la rok, to spit, b'veit hakneset, in the shul. V'dorso baraglav, and he should tread it with his feet, or mechasehu bagemi, or cover it with gemi, would basically be like straw, cover it with straw. So you're allowed to spit in the shul, just cover it afterwards. We'll see more on that in the Mishnah Brura. Number 14, yashkim adam. A person should get up early, leveit hakneset, to the shul, kedei, in order, she'yimaneh, that he will be counted, im ha'asara harishonim, with the 10 first ones. Best to be part of that group who makes the minyan. Im nishar adam yachidi, if a person remains alone, so everyone else is davened and gone, mitpalel b'veit hakneset, praying in the shul, shebasadot, in the field, or afilu b'veit hakneset shebe'ir, or even in a shul in the city, im hu tfilat arvit, if it is the prayer of Mariv, shemitpalim belayla, that they're praying at night, chayav chaveru lahamtino, his friend is obligated to wait for him, ad sheyesayem tfilato, until he will conclude his prayer, kedei shelo yitbalbel betfilato, in order that he will not be mixed up in his prayer. V'yesh machmirin, some are strict, afilu bayom, even during the day, uvavat haknesiot shelanu shehem be'ir, and in our shuls which are in the city. V'im ma'arich b'vakashot v'tachanunim, and if he extends with requests and appeals, so he's dragging on his davening, eino chayav lahamtin lo, you're not obligated to wait for him. Number 16, ha'holech b'derech, someone who's going on the road, v'higia, and he arrived, la'ir, at the city, v'rotzeh lalunba, and wants to stay in it, im lefanav ad arba milin makom shemitpalin ba'asara, if in front of him, in other words, on the road that he's traveling further on towards his ultimate destination, until 4 milin, which is about 4 kilometers, a place that they are praying in 10. In other words, if he would carry on walking for another 4 kilometers, he'd get to the minyan. Tzarich leilek sham, he needs to stay there. He needs to go to that next town, and then he'll meet up and daven with the minyan and everything there. Ula acharav, and behind him, what if he gets to the place and he realizes that there is not a minyan in the place where he is now, but if he would backtrack, he would get to a minyan. So then, tzarich lachzor ad mil, he needs to go back up unto a mil, about a kilometer, kedei litpalel ba'asara, in order to pray with 10. Number 17, yesh mi shomer, some say, there is one who says, shemikol shekain, how much more so, shelo yashkim adam lalech me'ir shemitpalin ba'asara, that a person should not get up early to go from a city where they're praying with a minyan, im yachol lavo limchoz chefzo be'or hayom gadol, if he is able to come limchoz chefzo, to his destination, when the day is still big, when it's still day, v'shelo yeh tzarich lalechet yechidi achar hatfilah, and that he will not need to go alone after the prayer. Number 18, b'veit hamidrash kavua, in a fixed shul, or a fixed beit midrash, a fixed learning center. Kadosh beit midrash kavua, kadosh yoter, is holier mi beit knesset, than a shul. U'mitzvah litpalel bo yoter mi beit knesset, and there's a mitzvah to pray in it more than to pray in a shul. V'hu she'yitpalel ba'asara, provided that you will pray with a minyan of 10. The Ramah says, v'yesh omrim, some say, da'afilu belo asara adif litpalel b'veit hamidrash hakavua lo, that even without 10, it is better to pray in a Beit Midrash that is set for him. In other words, his own Beit Midrash where he learns all the time. V'davka mishe torato umanuto, but particularly one that Torah is his occupation, somebody who is engaged in full-time learning. that it would be better for him to pray in his Beit Midrash, even better than going to shul to daven with the minyan. Ve'enu mitbatel b'lav haki, and he would not be idle from his studies without this. Ve'afilu haki lo yagil atzmo lasot ken. In other words, he'll be able to get in more study time to davening by himself in his little Beit Midrash. Ve'afilu haki, even so, lo yargil atzma lasot ken. He should not accustom himself to do this. Shelo yilmedu amei ha'aretz mimenu, in order that the ignorant will not learn from him, and they will become idle from the shul. They'll say, well, we see he doesn't go to shul either, so we don't need to go to shul. They don't realize that that's because he's got the system in which he gets in a lot more Torah study. For kol shekan, how much more so, shelo ya'asok b'Torah b'Beit HaKnesset, that he should not engage in Torah in the shul, bizman she'atzibur omrim slichot v'tchinot, at the time that the community says slichot, which are basically prayers for forgiveness, and tchinot, which are like religious poetry, which is part of the service. So he says, they're doing these extra prayers, I'm going to go on ahead and do my own learning. He shouldn't do that because, again, people will learn from him to not study, to not do the right thing. I mean, people will look at him and they will say, so I guess that the prayer service is not so important. The Mishna Brura says, La rok b'Beit HaKnesset, it's permissible to spit in the shul. Perish, the explanation is, Shelo b'shat tefillah, not at the time of prayer, Shmoneh Esrei of the Amidah. Can't spit in the middle of the Shmoneh Esrei. Ela, rather, kagon, for example, Kriyat Shema v'Yirchotea, during Shema, the brachot of Shema. Aval b'tfilat Shmoneh Esrei, but during the prayer of the Amidah, asur la it's forbidden to spit. Kedla, come on, as we will see later on. V'doros over raglav, and then tread it with his foot, shelo yeh meguleh, that it will not be revealed, that you won't have this pile of spit sitting on the floor. Mipnei hakavod, for the honor of the shul. Ve'harotzeh shelo larok tadir b'Beit HaKnesset, and somebody who doesn't want that he should not spit frequently in the shul, yil'os kodem knisato, he should chew before he comes in, shorish matok, a sweet root, shekorin licorice. Ve'af b'boker shari, even in the morning this is permissible. Delo shayach b'zeh guy, that's not relevant to this to speak about arrogance. V'gamein machnis legufo, and also he doesn't bring it into his body, right? Doesn't swallow it, he's just chewing on it. So that helps decrease the saliva. Aval be'erev Yom Kippurim u'be'erev Tisha B'Av asur, but in the evening of Yom Kippur, in the evening of Tisha B'Av, it's forbidden. She'yisha'er hamtikut b'fiv, that it will remain the sweetness, matok, in his mouth. Uchesheboleya, and when he swallows, harok, the spit, boleya hamitikut, he will swallow that sweetness also. V'chaseu begemi, he will cover it with straw. Rotelamai, this means she'im yesh teven or gemi b'Beit HaKnesset, if there is straw or a different kind of straw in the shul, rokek, he spits alav on the straw, vein tzarich l'shafshef, and then he doesn't need to rub it in. Sheharkika muchosa begemi, because the saliva will be covered up by the straw. Now, the Mishnah Brura is all speaking in a case. You're talking about a shul with a dirt floor and a society in which people spit. Nowadays, you've got a shul with a nice carpet and nice tiles, and it would be horrifying to people for you to spit. Then absolutely do not spit in the shul. I would not at all say that this is appropriate today. Kadesh Shimani, you get up early, come and be amongst the first 10. V'davke shit palel shamimahim. Dafke, if you're going to pray there with them, don't get up and be there with the first 10 and then not daven. I mean, he's saying get up and go there and be part of that minyan. Va'ari, and the Arizal, lo haya min harashonim, he was not from the first ones. Ki hutzrach lipanot, because he needed to go to the bathroom, that's a euphemism. Shahaya lo choli, that he had an illness. He had some kind of intestinal problem. The guy, so he was not able to be at shul. Every morning he spent the first little while in the men's room. V'gam kadeshi yelech mutaf b'talit, and also that he should go wrapped in a talit to tefillin and tefillin leveit HaKnesset to the shul. V'zeh yefshar kodam yom, it's impossible to do that before the day. So some people would get there early and they would put on their tefillin in shul, but he liked to put on his tefillin and go to shul in his tefillin, which would mean that he wouldn't be part of the first 10. V'zohar not naso, it's on the Zohar Pashat Naso. it is, it says over there, Sheyit asfu asara b'yachad, that they should gather 10 together, v'yavo leveit hakneset, and they should come into shul together. So that solves the problem that we would all get our talis and tefillin on, we would all walk into shul together. Lehamtin. Somebody's davening and they're carrying on in the field at night when everyone else is going home. I must wait for him to finish. Davkim nichnusu b'shaveh. Only if they came in b'shaveh literally equally, but what that means is at the same time. We all came in at the same time for Ma'ariv, and he's just taking longer than the rest of us. I must wait. But if he entered alone at the time that he is not able to conclude his prayer, imahim with them, I'm not obligated to wait for him. The kaivan, since he saw that he's not able to conclude with them, v'nichnas, and he entered. So this kasor, he's going to be left behind after everybody else. Iglai milta, this is Aramaic. Iglai, revealed. Milta, matter. The matter is revealed. Sha'eino mefached, he is not afraid. Im nish'ar yechidi, if he will stay alone. Miu, however, mirat chasidatu, it is a measure of piety. It's an extra righteous thing, lehamtin, to wait, af b'kya gavna, even in such a case. In other words, the main thing here is that if the person is worried about being alone, so you can't leave them alone because then they're going to have no quality of prayer. But if they're not worried about being alone, so you don't need to worry on their behalf. But if you want to worry on their behalf, that's a nice thing to do. Now I arrive at the city and I want to stay over. But I realize there's no minyan for Ma'ariv or for Mincha, whatever it is. But if I'd carry on another 4 kilometers, I would chapa Mincha, chapa minyan. So then I'm going to have to go on ahead. He says, the law is the same in the morning. On the road in front of him, 4 kilometers ahead, there's a place where they are praying with a minyan of 10. I should wait until I get there. So I'm up and leaving at 5 in the morning, but so I'm asking, should I daven here before I go, or should I wait until I get to the minyan of 10? So he says, no, you should wait until you get to that minyan. But that is provided that through this, the time for Shema and davening will not pass. Im lefanav, if before him, if in the road before him, he can still catch that minyan. Davka b'derech ha'olechet lefanav, only in the road that is going in front of him. Sheba lav hachi, without this. Yitztarech levasof lelech sham, I will need in the end to go there. In other words, as I said, this is on my road, this is part of my journey. Aval bitstadin, but on the side, if it's a detour, dino kamal acharav, that law is like behind me. So to go to the side is the same as having to go backwards. Leilech sham, in such a case, I would have to go there. Uva ofen, in a manner, shelo yitzarech lelech yechidi al yedei zeh, that I will not need to go alone through this. In other words, I'm traveling with a whole group, but they all want to stay over the night. And through this, they'll need to go. V'gam Mairi or I'll need to go by myself. Then I wouldn't have to do this. V'gam Mairi, it's also speaking. She'od hayom gadol, the day is still big. She'afilu im yelech ad sham yuchal hagia sham bor hashemesh al haaretz. That even if I will go there, I'll be able to reach there whilst the sun is still shining. Te'ilav hachi, if not so, I'm not obligated. That always a person should enter, in other words, he should enter into where he's staying, but kitov, it is good, which is a phrase used to describing the creation of light. You should always arrive at your destination during the light, when it's still day. So don't go on ahead to make the Ma'ariv minyan, because then you'd be traveling at night. Va'ayin b'frima, Gadim tackling the brief, Gadim shekatav, who wrote, the derech on the road, im nizdamein, if there occurred to him, asara palel, 10 people to daven mincha, achar chetzi shash achar chatzot, past the half an hour after midday, rashai, he is permitted. So that's the earliest time to daven mincha, so he can daven mincha then. Afal gad, even though, the velav hachi, without this factor of being on the road and meeting people, whatever, ein kadai lechatchila. It's not worthwhile in the first instance. Kere'ita v'siman reish lamed gimel, as we'll see later on in chapter 233. Kan, here, mutarid is permissible. Here you can take the opportunity. Ula acharav, and behind them he can go up until a mil, said like a kilometer. I'm busy couldn't take a look behind where he says that going to the side is the same, or if you wouldn't have to ditch your travelers, your fellow travelers. Vayoshev b'veito, someone who is sitting in his home, dino kemila acharav, then going somewhere from home is like going behind you. Al-Kain, therefore, hadar b'yishuv, someone who lives in a village, toch mil lemakom shemipalim basara, within a mil of the place where they are praying with the minions, within a kilometer of the minyan, tzarich leilech b'chol yom ba'boker litpalel basara. You need to go every day in the morning to pray with a minyan of 10. Aval lo be'erev, but not in the evening. Ki ein tzarich leilech b'layla b'derech b'shvil minyan. Because you do not need to go in the night on the road to get to a minyan. And this paragraph is a rebuke, a megula, revealed, an open rebuke. To these people that are in the city, and they are lazy from going to shul, to daven mincha ma'ariv. Lelech me'ir, to go from the city. So he's saying over here, someone says, if you, how much more so that you should not get up early to go from the city with the minyan, if you can reach where your destination is. So he's saying, Ma'iri, it's speaking here. Beholech lidvarashut, where I'm going for literally a matter of permission. I'm going on an optional journey, not going on a mitzvah journey. V'ayin b'fri magadim shikshe, see the Pri Magadim will ask the question. The kan mash medavke mal yedei ze mitzbatel itzlo tefillah b'tzibur. Here it implies as davke, if by going I'm going to miss out davening with the minyan. U'velo ze shari, but without this, then it would be permissible. Ha b'lavachi, without this, asula tzayladera kodem tefillat shomai esrei. But even if there isn't this fact of missing a minyan, you're catching a minyan, missing a minyan, you're not allowed to go to the road before you daven the Amidah. Keleel, Simon Peitet, Sivkim, as we saw earlier in 89.3. But according to what the Ramah wrote in the note there, it's good. It's speaking that he said the blessings before davening. Nevertheless, you're not allowed to go because of davening in the community. In other words, if you are supposed to be davening in minyan every day, and you're supposed to be davening before you go. So if you said your brachot, okay, you can swing it that you can go. But if you have the opportunity to daven with a minyan that you'd be giving up, so that's something that you should, that's something that you can't give up, even if you want to say your brachot. But if there is now a caravan, and he doesn't want to wait for it, well, they don't want to wait for him, I beg your pardon, mutar, then he is allowed to go. Vishi palel ba'asara, so now he said that it's better to daven in the Beit Midrash rather than davening in the shul, provided you'll get a minyan either way. So he says, ve'afilu in beveit hakneset ikar rav am hadrat melech, even if in the shul there is the factor of a lot of people, which is a glory to the king. We've mentioned in the past that it's better to daven in a shul with a lot of people. That's more glory to Hashem. Mikol makom, nevertheless, Beit Midrash adif, a shul is better. At Beit Midrash, I beg your pardon, the study center is better. So there's a minyan in the one, and there's 150 people in the shul, rather daven in the Beit Midrash. V'hani mili, these words, Aramaic. This only applies to someone who's learning there. In order that he will not negate from his learning to go to the shul. If he's not learning there, Rav Amar, then it's better to go to the big minyan. Kain Katav Pri Magadim, this is what the Pri Magadim wrote. Mishna is not so happy with that, so he wants to qualify what the Pri Magadim said. Nire Pashut. it seems obvious to me that this is only a Beit Midrash which is fixed for an individual to learn. That its holiness is not fixed so much. It's a place for individuals to daven, it's not such a holy place. As we see in the Magen Avraham in chapter 153, this is what we are speaking about here. But a Beit Midrash which is fixed for many people to study Torah, bavadai, certainly, its holiness is more severe, in other words, greater. Yoter mi Beit HaKnesset than a shul. Mutav litpalel bo, and it is better to pray in a Beit Midrash where lots of people study Torah regularly, even if you've only got 10 people, Yoter mi Beit HaKnesset sheyesh bo ravam, more than a shul which has a lot of people. Afilu misha eino lomed bo klal, even somebody who doesn't learn there at all. Even somebody who doesn't learn at all should rather daven there, because it's a holier place. Ukereita b'Gemara, as it is in the Gemara, the Ohev Hashem Sha'arim HaMetzuyanim Be'alacha, Hashem loves the gates that are excellent, distinguished. In Halacha, in the study of Halacha, Yoter mi Beit HaKnesset, more than the shuls. V'chein mashma mikam achronim, and this is implied in many of the later authorities as well. Now, if we're talking about somebody who learns full-time, and he learns in his little Beit Midrash, and he's not going to get a minyan, but if he gets up and goes to shul, he's going to miss some of his learning, so he can still daven in his little place. This means, he normally doesn't break, except for things that are necessary for the needs of his body and his learning. So if he doesn't take a break, for Facebook, so then he doesn't need to take a break for the minyan also. Even if there's not 10 people in his Beit Midrash, because he would be idle from his learning at the time that he is going. Take a look in the explanation of the Gra who wrote, in this manner, that his Torah is his occupation, even according to the first opinion, you do not require 10 people. In so much more so if he's learning Torah with many people, with all of his students. That he should not become idle from his learning to go to Veiknishta, Aramaic for Beit Knesset, for sure. Shelo Yomedu. However, you shouldn't make a habit of this because you don't want people to learn from him. They will not judge him. Lekafschut, we would translate it as favorably, but it means to the side of merit. They won't judge him to the side of merit. Litlot, to depend, to attribute. But Torah taught that it's with his Torah. He's not coming to shul because he's studying so much. Because of his learning, he's davening alone. Rak, rather, Yomru, they will say, he doesn't care about davening. V'yedunu kal v'chomer, and they will judge a kal v'chomer. How much more so? Alatzmam, on themselves. They'll say, if he, who's such a holy person, doesn't need to daven with the minyan, so I don't need to daven with the minyan. And they will not worry at all about davening. So certainly when he's sitting in the shul and everyone's busy doing even this extra davening, he shouldn't be doing his learning. So too at the time of the reading of the Torah. We'll take a look at number 146. If he's already davened, that if he's already davened, he's only standing there to answer the Kadishas and the Kedushas from those Haposim Ashma who are going back for the communal responses, or Shechozrim Kolat Filo, or reviewing the whole prayer, or Seik Torah, then he can engage in Torah. Ve'enu Choshesh, and he needn't worry. V'chein Muchach Milashan Agan, that's implied from the expression of the Ramor, the Mari, he is speaking. Davka, particularly b'inyan sheporesh min hatzibur, in a way that he is separating from the community. That's when it's really a problem. Ayin Sham, take a look over there. That's it for today.